lucky. She's asking to be paid like you get paid.
It's not on Scott Jennings' level. What?
Issue in this country right now is we live in different realities.
That's right.
I live in a reality where I know I do not have the same opportunity as you. I know I don't.
And you know
and
that
I know
too.
what, Scott?
And you know that.
Let me just tell you about me.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to answer this.
I'm not talking about how you feel. I'm talking about how I feel. Me, a black woman in this country.
Well, let me tell you about me, a black woman in this country. Y'all, I'm a black woman, so I guess I got to talk about this. I got to talk about this DEI once again. Before we get fully into this, because let me show you what I posted. Hold on, y'all gonna laugh. Look what I posted on X. I posted this, what, 2 days ago at this point, and it's getting a lot of traction. And if you are not following me on X, Real Melanie King on X, all of my socials are like on the screen and they're in the description box. Make sure you guys are following me. But this is what I put out there. Question for black folk who are Democrats. Are you not mad at Democrats who claim they can't get reparations, but have spent trillions of dollars laundering money through USAID? Why aren't you holding black Democrat politicians accountable? They're out there protesting USAID being audited and corruption being uncovered, but say they have to keep studying reparations. How much money have they actually brought to the black community? Now, I brought that up about reparations because this is like a big thing that, the Democrats have been like, talking about. They trot it out during election season as a dog whistle. Even though Kamala Harris said that she's not doing anything for black people, and then you saw her on The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne tha God saying that they're studying reparations, but it's Republicans that keep stopping it. That's why we can't do anything. Well, okay, let's just pretend that, let's make believe, like we're Sesame Street in Iraq. Let's play pretend and just think about it. I've never seen them out there going crazy over any issue other than this. I've never seen them go crazy about any issue. But in particular, you got these black Democrats out there, losing their damn mind, falling out. It's just full throttle. I've never seen them protesting. If it's all these problems getting it passed through, how come y'all haven't led y'all marches and done all that to get it going? See, they don't like those questions. And if you go to my X account, you'll see it's all these black folk in the comments like, exactly, yes, 100% the Democrat plantation is being exposed. And I know Democrats, black people who are Democrats are just pissed off, but some of them are like, yeah, that is a good question. They're more upset about this than anything else. See, again, it's performative art. It's just, let's just make noise and dangle some things for black folk to get them excited, so we can keep getting their votes. But you see where their real heart lies. A bunch of lies and BS is being spun. But let's get back into the video, because this woman doesn't have the opportunity. Sitting up on CNN, I actually debated her right before the election on another channel. I debated her. And it didn't go so well, which I don't usually have a problem with her. She's a talking head, so it's no hate on her. But this whole, you don't have the same opportunities while you're sitting with privilege, sitting on this CNN panel, it's laughable. Again, guys, it's comedy hour, but let's go back into it.
Not in this city.
And I will run, and if you want
I'm a New Yorker, not in this city. You cannot say that. You can't say that in this city.
I'm not talking about New York. I'm talking about actually
let her finish.
right here.
Let her finish.
I got a law degree, a master's, and 2 bachelors. Probably more education than all of y'all added up together at this table,
Fine
right?
by me.
And I have.
Why? We don't care about your personal problems. What are you, she's up there advocating for herself, and Carrie Champion up there like they really doing something. Again, I want you to see how much of this is just performative. This is absolute performative clown show.
Always been the least paid person on payroll at every institution I have worked in. And it's not
Even
because
in the White House?
Okay, so you've been the least paid, but we supposed to just accept that because you a black woman? By the way you acting now, I see why. You up there, hey man, when you don't get your way, is this what you snapping and doing? See, a lot of people say, I don't get the opportunities, right? Then there may be some instances of that, right? We can't dismiss that, yeah, that can happen, that has happened historically. But we're talking about today, right? Why did they just assume it's because you black, because you a woman, because you gay, because you trans, because whatever? What if it's you just a shitty employee? What if you just don't do a good job? What if you're difficult to work with? What if you don't know how to manage a project correctly? What if you're late all the time? What if you don't work well within the organization? What if have we seen your performance reviews? What if you're rolling your eyes and giving neck and talking like this and doing whatever? Or you got this attitude when people want you to do the work, you're giving pushback. Like there's a lot of factors that can play into why you are the lowest paid. And we're just supposed to take your word for it. You got the salary. You have seen the salary of everybody that worked there and can confirm that you were the lowest paid. I don't know. Maybe she do. Maybe she's going to give us some context other than her personal anecdotes.
Even in the White House.
Well, whose fault is that? I don't think he worked for George W. or Trump.
Well, guess what happened when I...
Oh, even in the White House. Wait. That was a good point. I'm sorry, guys. I got to keep interrupting. Even in the White House, you didn't work under a Republican in the White House. You work for who? What? Obama. So, sis, your issue is with Obama and Democrats. Why were they paying you the lowest? Gotcha.
was there, DEI.
Scott.
Look,
I'm head Scott.
Look,
you're my friend. I respect you tremendously. I think you're probably the smartest operative in the Democratic Party, and they should listen to you more. That's number one. Number two, you and I share a comparable background. We're both from the Midwest. We both come from middle-class families, lower middle-class families maybe. I actually think we share a lot of similarities in our journey. But I think you made it, and you are the most respected voice often at every room or every table you're in, not because of anything other than your talent and your work ethic. And that's all anybody ever is asking for, is for people with talent and work ethic to make it. And that's what I see in you. That's how I see you.
But let me tell you something about my story and my family's story, is that we have faced discrimination. I have faced discrimination. I just said I was the least paid person, even in this moment sometimes, to my counterparts. It is just the reality of the country we live in. And I'm not saying, I do believe I'm qualified. I know I'm qualified. You won't ever tell me I'm not qualified. But the system that I live in doesn't matter about my qualifications.
I don't agree, because
Girl, stop lying. And once again, you work at CNN, or you come on as a panelist at CNN. That's between you and CNN. Liberal, DNC, shill, CNN. This between you and Obama and the White House and Democrats. Why are you bringing your problems over here and talking about that? You see how, like, they didn't pay me enough. They didn't do this, that, and the other. And she's not even putting any logical things together. This is the hypocrisy. This is what my post was about on X. They want to cry all of this stuff, but all of them work for liberal companies, liberal organizations, a liberal White House. How is that the problem of Republicans or anyone else?
2025.
Oh, come
I don't think we're there in 2025.
You can't deny
That's just not true. That's just not true.
There's a mountain of evidence that suggests that you are wrong. Okay, let's just
Again,
take Ashley.
I'm a New Yorker, so I'm jaded. I have the Attorney General is a black woman. The mayor's a black man. The head of the Senate is a black man.
Okay, New York is a small representation.
Well, small.
of the
New York is
United
not that
States
small.
of America.
Politics. Let me talk about
Every judge I
numbers.
appear before
Because
is either a
Ashley
woman
just
or a
gave-
person of
Ashley
color.
just gave an anecdote, but the numbers also show black women are one of the most educated demographics in this country and one of the least paid. Why would that make any sense?
Why would that make any sense? And don't talk to me about the judges you stand before. Talk to
Why?
me about the theory.
Hold on.
Talk to me about the
But
world
it
in
also-
which we live in and
Let's
the
look at
system
the
that
United
we live
States
in.
Supreme Court. How could you say we're not going to look at that from the top?
You want to know what else? Because, before I did this work, guys, I did a lot with relationships. And it would be with all races. It wasn't just one particular race. But one of the things that I go into within the Black community, you know, and it talks about this. This is one thing that Black women will just tout about. We're the most educated, the most educated, the most educated. Well, they're not the most educated. They're the most enrolled into college. Okay. So they throw out these statistics. And actually, if you want some real statistics on the Black community, Black women, Black men, and I mean, this guy kills it. Okay. Kills it. It's a guy named Medium Man. I've actually done videos with him. He's a friend of mine. And he actually, when they say things like this, he fact checks them on the reality. So the other thing with Black women, you know what else we are? We're the least wed. We're the least married. We have the most overwhelming numbers of children out of wedlock. We're we right here, if you want to go into the statistics of Black women, if we're going to go into one of them, we're going to go into all of them. Okay, so you're not going to cherry pick all that. And even the statistic that, or what you're saying right there, is absolutely false. They are the most enrolled into school. They are not the most educated. And education does not equal that you work well in an organization. Education does not equal competency. Education doesn't equal anything but a piece of paper. I never finished college because I didn't care about it. All right. I'm more of like a common sense person, and I just got it out the mud on my own. But I'm not going to sit up here. There's people on YouTube. The top people on YouTube are generally white men. So it would be equal to me saying, my videos aren't being pushed out. There's white men who are doing better than me. They get, 10 million views per video. This is discrimination because I'm a Black woman. It is not a corollary. Maybe their audience is different. Maybe they do better videos than me. They have better topics. It's just a different thing. You cannot always correlate how you're not being successful as to, it just has to be the color of your skin, and that's it. But then if you look at this panel and you see all the neck rolling and all that, like, is this what you're doing in organizations? That's what you need to check, boo.
To the bottom, and I'm talking about the legal
New
system.
York is a more progressive.
And we just got a Black woman.
Hold up. Let me.
We just got a Black woman on the
Okay, we
board.
got a Black man from the 70s.
You brought up the Supreme
or
Court.
the 60s.
One.
Did you know, Arthur, that there are many...
Hold on. What percentage of it does it represent the United States of America?
Why does it matter?
So we got to go by
Guys, one at a
numbers?
time.
No, but
Why is it?
Oh, so now we got to go by numbers? Why does it matter? Y'all just said that y'all are the most educated. Y'all have the highest numbers. So you're bringing in numbers. You see, this is why nobody's going to take this serious.
We got to
Acknowledge what she just said.
Why
Why is
we
it
have
so
to-
Why
hard?
is it just
13% of
one?
justice.
Why is there only one Italian American?
No, but why is it so hard for you to acknowledge what she just said about Black women being the most educated?
I
and
did
the
acknowledge
most
it. I said
underpaid?
that's
And
not
you-
my experience.
Okay,
If that
but
was
we're
the case,
because
we
you're
would have
not a
more
Black
Black women on the
woman.
No,
street.
I'm a New Yorker, and that's
New
not
York
the way
is
it
not
is in New York.
representative of the rest
You're
of America.
correct.
That's
Y'all, they got the right one with this Italian New Yorker. Because they can yell all they want. They can get loud. But a New York Italian, he is not here. He gonna give it right back to you.
It's also what
It's also the most diversity in the country.
Well, that's exactly.
Like,
so of
why
course
wouldn't it
there's
be?
more
I think it's a
representation
little
in
more
women.
representative.
And Scott, I think if you really see, you said something very beautiful. This is your friend. You guys share a lot of the same values. You guys think alike. You guys are literally friends off air. You text, you have good conversations. There is the yes and in that. There is something that says to me that you know what she's saying is true. You think she's smart. You know that she's smart. She's more educated than mostly everyone at this table. And so what she's saying isn't a lie. What she's saying is a real life experience. And so why is it so hard to understand why something like diversity, equity, inclusion needs to be a part of what we do in a system that never even acknowledged a group of people, never saw us as a human commodity, just literally never noticed who we were. And now here we are years later asking for some simple rights, some simple civilities. She's asking to be paid like you get paid.
It's not on Scott Jennings' level. What? She should be paid like he's being paid simply because she's a Black female, because of her race and her gender. How is that not sexist? How is that not racist? And what does a piece of paper, a degree? I'm gonna wipe my behind with a college degree. Okay, they're worthless at this point in life, unless you are studying something in a field that requires some type of technical knowledge. You're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. But a degree, there's millions of people, white, black, man, woman, who get a college degree right now. You'll see them, and they can't get a job in the field, their chosen field. It doesn't matter their color. It doesn't matter their race. It doesn't matter anything. They're working as a barista at Starbucks because their degree meant nothing. This is just weird. So if she's up there, what if there's another black woman who has more degrees than her? Shouldn't she take her place? Because if it's just about your degree and how many you have are equal to, where you should be placed, then that if the more degrees you have, you should be higher than someone else. Well, then find me the person who has more, another black woman or anyone else. Shouldn't they take her role? It's illogical on its face, and it keeps this victimhood narrative, and it makes no real progress in the black community. This is how Democrats, this is what they do. They get into this tokenism, this symbolism that's needed for us to feel like we're part of something. But it doesn't do anything. The black community is in the worst state that it's ever been. But they would rather have these emotional circle jerk conversations lashing out to create this false outrage that nobody's even checking for. And it's not going to make a difference to anyone but them personally.
Acknowledged like you get acknowledged. And she knows that that is not the case because she is a black woman.
She had a high-ranking position in the White House of the United States of America.
Dear friend,
she was one of the most celebrated political operatives in the country.
There's a
How hard I had to work to get that.
Do you know how hard the son of a garbage man had to work at it? So I'm just telling you.
I'm not saying that.
So talent and work, everything.
We're
and that's
not,
why
it's
you're
not
here.
true. It's just not true. It's just
look,
not true.
The other thing is the access to opportunity is, I know you don't want to think that is true, but access to opportunity is what DEI is supposed to address. And not just when it comes to race, although race is important, but when it comes to women, when it comes to people with disabilities, when it comes to people from different socioeconomic different brackets from rural parts of the country.
I think that's the biggest issue. There's different socioeconomic brackets
so now
more
we're
than
trying,
race, gender.
now we're trying to say that everything is equal just because I think it is, even though all the evidence.
Who said everything is equal?
Well, that's literally we're already living in a meritocratic society, is what Scott and his colleagues want to say, when that's actually factually not true. That's
actually
everything is
true.
equal.
But I think it's generally, true.
Everything needs to be equal. Everybody needs to have equal outcomes. This is the playbook of the Democrats. This is why it's always this victimhood that they scream about, because it's not enough to have equal opportunity. No, you need to have equal outcomes. That's what they try to advocate for, which is impossible. You can't create equal outcomes. There are different factors that play. We're looking at a panel with 3 black women that are on there, and they're saying, they don't get anything and they don't have the opportunity and all these other things. Elitist women, college educated women on TV, making millions of dollars most likely, or hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're up here saying this. They're not worried about the real issues in the black community that are holding us back. They're not worried about any of that. It's just that we have to have DEI because they're trying to manufacture equal outcomes. This is just reality. This is the way the world works. And you have Carrie Champion worked at liberal organizations. Abby Phillips works at a liberal organization. Ashley works at a liberal organization, worked at a liberal White House. Why are you not taking this up with your people? This has nothing to do with the rest of us.
I think it'll seek its own level. I don't think the government should be telling us to seek its own level.
But you literally earlier just said
DEI is not about the government. Y'all are talking to private companies and telling them you can't operate
It's about both.
the way you want to operate.
But Arthur, you literally just said, I don't think it will seek itself out, because you literally just said human nature. That's how we operate.
That's right.
Sometimes,
Yes,
which is why the civil rights movement was so important.
I think it's more socioeconomic than it is
This is why, when they talk about canceling the Department of Education, why they talk about the federal government. The reason why the federal government was so important, particularly for Black people to seek justice in this country, is because it was the one bastion of hope that people had when states took control and they had discriminatory practice laws.
Okay, but
the
that was a long
Supreme
time
Court.
ago.
What? How long ago? Tell me how long ago was that? How long ago was that?
It's about socioeconomic class. He was correct. It's about people at the top and people at the bottom. It has nothing to do with just race and your gender or your gender expression now, your sexual orientation. It's just guys, I'm so tired of it. They do this all the time, but they're not worried about the trillions of dollars being funneled through USAID. They're not worried about the real things that have happened. It's this individualism, me and my who I am and what I look like. That is what matters the most. Instead of holding anyone accountable for it and looking at the numbers of how DEI didn't work, and the people who benefited the most from DEI were not Black women, was liberal white women. And if you look at the studies, it just didn't work. If it worked so well, why did all these companies cancel it before the election? I've been covering this like this whole year. Before Donald Trump came into office, companies were getting rid of DEI because it wasn't working. And why should billions of our tax dollars be spent on that versus bringing education and opportunity and programs to lower class communities? Communities where children are not getting opportunities. They have a terrible record as far as the schooling, and people are not able to get their kids to other schools. They're not able to get them educated in the way that someone who maybe went to a private school, regardless of race. There's other ways to use the billions of dollars spent for, adults to go into an organization through DEI, when that money, if you look at how much was being spent, think of all the good that could have been done in communities, in areas, in schools, in programs that actually will help the children who do not have these opportunities get more of it. You know what I mean? I hope that's connecting. I'm so tired of this argument. It's just the same thing every single day. And we're done. We're done playing games with all of this. Guys, make sure you're following me here in my other channel, Melanie Offscript. And again, my socials are below. But if you want to support my channel, I do have my Cash App link on here. But also, you can get some merch from my merch shop, realmelanieking.com. And I will see you guys on the next one.